Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. Just a quick video on a couple of different things. We're just going to use our vehicles here at the moment as examples to show you a couple of little things that you can not replace that's going to save you probably just a few bucks or a few hundred, depending if it's both of them, whatever. So the first thing is the clips on these plastic covers, okay? So obviously on the 120, so this is relevant for all vehicles again. Doesn't matter what makes and models. A lot of cars have got plastic trims and stuff like that. It may vary. Just use your common sense. Again, we're trying to bring back the common sense. Have a think about it. Now, it's awesome that they sit there and they do that and they're clipped in. See, we've got all the clips in place. I like the clips, but what I'm trying to say is I know people with these vehicles, with these cars, and they don't even have these plastic trims on there, because they like to have them out for cleaning and whatever. And look, I like it there because it's got you got the rubber seal up there on the bonnet, and it sort of sits right there. You can see that line there, so it seals better. But then maybe not, because the steel radiator support panel's there, so the rubber's going to seal on there just as well. So, you know, maybe you don't need it. It just looks good. So look, I know. So they're running around. They haven't got the cover on there whatsoever. There's also other people that haven't got the clips. So they've busted all these clips over time. Once they get 10 plus years old, a lot of heat, maybe that North Queensland or up in WA, Northern Territory, up north, and maybe whatever, they get a bit more brittle. But the point is, that trim can just sit there, and once you close the bonnet, it's not going anywhere. So do you need the clips? Something to think about. Do you need the clips? So you don't have to replace those clips, but I'll get you the part number for those, and let's just quickly talk about, there's another part that people are replacing as well, and it can cost hundreds, and I just want to give you some reasons why you may not need to replace that either. Give me one second. Should have got that ready first. So the part number for these clips, if you've got a 120 Prado, right? Let me just have a look, they're the right ones. Yeah, definitely the ones, right? If you want to get it's up to you. You can get those cheap pop-in ones. I actually like these. They're good quality. They've got little spot there to slot the screwdriver in there to just pop it. With these ones, you pop the center out. So this video is going to include how to use the clips correctly so that you don't bust them and lose them, because there's a really common problem on the 150s, and this is a lot of other clips on Toyotas and some other cars as well. So we're going to show you exactly how they work. So these ones, you just get your little flat blade underneath the side and the center pops out gently. If it breaks, then you need a new one. There's your part number, right? 90467082217. Now let's go look at the 150 and see what the problem there is. Okay, so on the 150 Prado, the clips are a little bit different. So they press up there. They kind of probably changed them because they're a bit, maybe they're going to be flatter and neater type finish, you know. But anyway, here's the number. We'll get that to you early for those people that are busy and got to go. If you want to buy the genuine ones yourself, there they are, right? I'm just going to pop those back on the shelf before I lose them, and then I'll tell you why are you losing them? Why are they getting broken? Why are you breaking them? Why are they going missing? Well, I've said this in other videos, and this is the thing that keeps coming up, whether it's on Facebook groups, people asking questions, new people coming along, maybe they just, the best thing they can do is just get on this channel, subscribe, and start back watching all the videos from the start, because there's so much information there, it is going to be hard to catch up with. You just got to dedicate some time each day, I think, however much time you can afford at the end of the day, half an hour, depending how educated you want to be about the vehicle. But these clips, right, the problem you got is people, when they work on the car, they lean on them, and when you pop the bonnet, people can't help themselves, you know. They got to, and you know, once they've been off, because people go to take them off, they put a screwdriver and they go to pop the center out, right? Like, just want to say at the start of the video, there's two things we're going to talk about, these clips and something else as well. So these clips is not it, so stick around. But what people do, they put the screwdriver under and they want to pull the center, and they sort of wreck them. Then they're bent up at the edges, then they're not sitting flat, and then people just want to press them flat, and then they kind of go in too far, because to release these clips, guys, you press them like that, and then they come straight. And what happens is, then you're driving along. Of course, this one's not going to come out because it's, you know, nice and new and well looked after, right? See, it's pressed down, right? It's about 1 millimeter or 2 below. Then you need to take it to a hard surface and press that back piece in the center there. We're just going to use, say, the radiator support panel here like that, and push it back out to reset it, right? Then as long as it sits up a little bit like that, it's not squeezing those center pieces out. Just gently place it back in there like that. Really gently. Don't force it, because you'll have one of these prongs, you know, bent back, whatever. They can be a little bit fiddly to get in position. They're not usually, but because we're doing a video, it is. No, it's not too bad. So that's in flush now. Once it's in flush, then just push that just till it's flush. Look, it's secure. It's not going in here. They're rock solid. There's nothing wrong with them. People go, oh, those crappy clips. No, they're not crappy clips, mate. They're bloody crappy people that take them off, which is the whole reason our channel's there and successful, because we're showing people how to avoid all these problems, but you don't really get this anywhere else, do you? You know what I mean? So, bang, look, rock solid. You know, you could, whatever. Anyway, okay, that covers the clips. You've got the part numbers, that's the 150 Prados. A lot of these clips are used other places in the car as well. But the important part I wanted to say, which I touched on at the start on the 120, this panel, take all the clips out, it's not going anywhere. Once you shut the bonnet latch is there, it's locked down, right? There's a again, the rubber seal again comes down, bang, where, I can't, look, it sits along the top there, I'm pretty sure, along there, right where that solar charging wire is sitting at the moment, right? It sits there, right, so it's locked in, it's not going anywhere. So if you don't want to waste your money on $2 or $3 clips, get rid of the bloody things and throw them away, because like I said, on the 120, I know people that run around without the plastic there. I'm not saying to take this plastic out. In my opinion, that's actually probably not an opinion, but we'll call it an opinion for the benefit of the doubt. It's there to help direct all the air, like the ones at the sides and the bottom, through the cooling system to the engine to cool everything, the radiator, the intercooler, the condenser for the aircon and all that. If you have that open, then the air's going to come up and not go through where it's meant to. So it's good that it's there on the 150, the 120, not too fussed about it, I don't think, but I would like it to be sitting there at least. What I'm saying is, don't worry about the clips. If you don't have a problem with it, don't get the clips, doesn't matter. Just sit it there, shut your bonnet, away you go. That'll be fine. I don't think you're going to hear rattling around, right? If you want, just pop a couple clips in there. If you want the clips, we gave you the part number. Now, what's the next part? All right, here's the next part of the video. So this is a 2-in-1 video, right? Now we're going to give you a few things, and you might get a bit of a surprise with this one with what you don't get and how much money it's going to save you, right? Now, obviously, you know, it says front left and whatever, so they've got the letters on them and even arrows for which way it faces. So let's just come back a little bit. So wheel and tyre, this is the front, right? You know, you got your suspension, your upper control. Let's do suspension components quickly, right? So upper control arms here, this is kind of like your shock tower, the coil springs here, the strut tops there, whatever, right? Now, this is the body of the car up here, okay? And that's the chassis that it's connected to at the bottom. So there's a bit of movement between the two. So they can't have anything solid there, which is why there's this, you know, soft flat type thing held by a few plastic clips, about 5 plastic clips, if I remember correctly. 5 on each one, I think there is. 1, 2, 3, something like that. There is. There's 5 on each one. Yep, there is. And that's why I see it sagged a bit at the moment, because as your body rubbers squash and stretch and move and all that, there needs to be a bit of movement. So you can't have anything solid there. And you think, oh yeah, no, you need them because that stops everything splashing in to there, right? You know, you don't want anything splashing into there. Well, the thing is, that makes sense. And they're the engineers. We're not the engineers, so I could be wrong about this, but just follow me through and have a think about it. We've been off-roading and using these vehicles, you know, off-road, tracks, mud and everything for years, and sometimes we're out there spinning it in mud and all the mud gets caked all in here and all that. But I can tell you right now, the furthest that way it goes is around about to where that hole is, to that join there, you know, kind of like goes to about, you know, there. Mud doesn't flick over in through there. Anything flicking off the tyres that are turning like this, there's no way these tyres can flick anything in there past those, you know, past that flap there at the back here, and that crack there that's open. In that crack that's open, yeah, that might be full of mud. There's never any mud on those flaps. Have a think about it, guys. Have you been out on the tracks? Don't trust me, check it out yourself. Now here, you can see a bit of, you know, dirt stains and whatever, but I can tell you, no mud goes that way. Now, you might get a little bit, you'll get it thrown up into there where it's open, where you need to, you know, get your hose and clean all that out. A little bit might, you know, whatever. When you turn full lock, you shouldn't be spinning the wheels too hard full lock, but you can get it into there, but it doesn't get thrown past that there. This is the 150, right? There it is, there's one side. This is the driver's side, all pretty much the same. The mud can go through all those holes, and plus you need to wash it out down there. Doesn't get to that flap. Right now, all the vehicles are different. Let's go to the 120 for a minute. 120, passenger side. Oh look, flap's still there, all the clips are still in there. Let's have a look, you know, they're a bit firm and whatever, but they're still there. We sit there, there's the back one, still there. No, probably never been removed. I'm not going to take it off because they'll probably go to pieces. It seems like it's in pretty good condition, but it's not brittle and falling apart. And some people talk about that. So I don't know if it's the sea spray, the sea air, whatever. These are original, nearly 400,000 Ks, around about 13 years old, and they're still there. Let's check the driver's side. Let's have a quick look. What's in there? Starter motor, oh, there's an engine block, few bits and pieces, some pumps and stuff like that in beyond the shocker tower and suspension components. Right, okay, other side. Driver's side, here we are. Oh, look, you know, oh, what do we got here? Bit of mud. There's a bit of mud sitting there still. Someone didn't wash the car properly. Anyway, look up here. This is where all the mud goes, up through the wheel arch. Never does it go there. Never does it go there or in there. Look, this one, when we change, you can see the alternator, right? When we change the alternator, sometime before then we knew we were going to be changing alternator. So what I actually did, because that one started to rip at that top hole there, so I trimmed it away, and I trimmed it a bit extra, and I thought, yep, that'll be our access to change the alternator. You can see it's still not brittle or anything. It's just, you know, they stretch you around because they move for the body movement, right? Now, what's my point? I'm going to give you the part numbers for these. You know why? Because I reckon they're a waste of money and a waste of time. Now, I could be wrong. As I said at the start, I'm not the engineer on this, okay? But there's nothing coming off these wheels and tyres that can get thrown into there. So why are we worried about having something there? That's my concern. Why are we worried about that? So let's say, for example, important things. There's a turbo in it, just right there. There's a turbo. We're looking at a turbo. Turbos get hot, don't they? So what are they worried about? They're worried about we're washing the car and we're going to spray water in there. Well, look at that. It's dead set open anyway. Look, straight through, there's a hole there. So my point is it doesn't do the job to protect anything anyway, right? Think it through. I could be wrong. Let's have a look in the comments. I've thought about this pretty deeply for a decade now, so I hope I'm not wrong. If you're going to river crossing, you're going to get water come through the front and whatever. Those flaps ain't going to stop anything, whether it's going in or out the engine bay, right? It's in or it's out or it's whatever. I cannot see any point whatsoever. In theory, when they designed the car, they probably, yeah, good idea, we'll add those in there, whatever. But from my experience working on these cars all day, every day, forever, looking at them, they're there, they're not there, they're broken, they're whatever. There's been no problems with any components that I know of from not having those there. You know, when you go through a puddle, right, and you splash a puddle, you know how the water splashes out? Well, it splashes in as well, but that all happens down underneath, under the bash plate. That water doesn't splash up in around here, and everything in around here, generally, yeah, look, you know, I could be wrong about this, like I said. So that's my thoughts on it anyway, guys. So I just wanted to share that. I wouldn't bother on our vehicle. I've seen that many without them. It just opens up the access. Look, imagine that wasn't there. We can inspect, clean, lubricate, whatever, things further in there. I'm sort of waiting for the day they fall to pieces. I don't think I'm going to replace them, guys. That's my position on it. And the reason I did this video, because I saw, and I really saw someone looking to buy them again. I thought, you know what? I said I'd do a video, so here's the video. Bada bing. Thanks for watching. I hope you got something out of that. Hopefully it saves you a few bucks on some clips. Not even putting them there or not replacing these. It's a bit of a, what we're going to call this one. Let's not waste money on stuff we don't need. There you go. Could be called that. Please give us a thumbs up. I'm out of here. If you haven't already, please subscribe, turn the bell on. We've got better videos than this. See ya.